What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we've got another fragrance from Bharara, I believe is how you say it. I believe the H is silent. I have hell pronouncing this fragrance, apparently. I'll tell you this, though. This is the second fragrance I got from them, and I'm a fan. I do plan on getting more in the future, but we are talking about Don from Bharara, as I believe it to be. I like the bottles. I like the build quality. I like the scent profiles. Spoiler alert, it's a pretty good rating. But we're going to dive into it a little bit further, so stay tuned. So I'll put the notes on screen for you guys. Let's keep it simple. Undeniable similarity to this. Yeah, there's some Aventus here. I would call it 70% in the top. But the biggest difference, because you get the fruitiness, you get a little smokiness, you get all of that. It starts to come into its own, and this starts to go away after about an hour, I would say. When it starts to settle in a bit more, this one becomes more about a woody, spicy profile. There's a variety of spices here. I believe cardamom. I forgot what else. Like I said, the notes were on screen. It's a nice, warm, woody spice. Not dry, woody spice. Not like nutmeg, super heavy or anything like that. But there's a nice woodsy tone. I want to say there's maybe a little bit of cinnamon and some cardamom, something like that. Something along those lines. A little peppered, if you will. And that's what I really like about this one. This is an Aventus twist that I quite enjoy. I'm a big fan of the spicy fragrances, and this is definitely a spicy Aventus twist. Twist, inspiration, not a clone. Definitely not a clone. The relation is early and fades more and more and more as it settles, dries, and develops. It becomes more and more its own fragrance and gets further and further away from this. This is a masterpiece. This is arguably the greatest men's DNA of all time. It's been manipulated to death to create so many great fragrances, including this. This is a manipulation of that profile, and it's a welcomed one. I don't have Aventus fragrance fatigue. I'm always interested in checking out a new twist on Aventus because I stand by what I say. I think it's probably the greatest men's DNA of all time. There's so much you can do with it. I haven't come across too many aquatic Aventus twists. I'd like to try some more of those. But as far as the woody, spicy dominant one, not too heavy on leather, not too smoky, a little smoky early on, fruity at the top. It doesn't have heavy vanilla and florals like rose. It's not patchouli dominant. Again, there's a lot of things. It's not super musky. There's elements that are completely devoid of the Aventus profile in here that I really appreciate. So if you want to see what a little touch of Aventus with a woody, spicy, kind of combination and overall profile could be, I highly encourage checking this out. Now, performance. Let's call it above average. 6 to 8 hours. Another one kind of falls in that 7-8 hour range in longevity. Nothing crazy. Nothing I would call a beast. Double Blue, which is basically like a really good version of Chrome. The other one that I have that I reviewed already. That one kind of falls into that 8 or so hour range. I actually get a little bit better longevity out of that than I do this. But this is still above average. Not a beast, but a very strong fragrance. Same thing goes with the projection. I would call this moderate, average, nothing super strong in projection, arm's reach kind of stuff. For going into 2 hours, let's call it 1.5 to 2 hours, and then the sillage falls down onto the moderate to mild side where I get light little whiffs here and there to remind me, is there nothing crazy? The longer we get into the lifespan, the weaker the whiffs become. The trail is decent, nothing crazy strong. It's not some super long lasting trail that stays in a room for 10 minutes, 20 minutes after you leave the room. It'll leave a nice little trail that you were there, but not for really long. That's why I call it more in that moderate to mild range. So across the board, I would call this one slightly above average. Nothing really strong. The longevity is really solid here. The projection's nothing crazy, and the sillage is kind of average stuff. Final thoughts on Bharara Don. I think this is a very good fragrance. I do like it. I have other Aventus twists that I prefer over it, but this was a welcomed experience. I do like this. I think I will revisit this one from time to time, more so than others, even ones that I maybe rate a little higher than I'm about to give this one, just because of the way the dry down is. The dry down's where it's at on this one. The opening, super relatable, easy to like, super familiar. It's like Aventus. The dry down is amazing, woody, spicy, warm. I like it a lot. It's a very good 7.5 out of 10. I don't think it's the greatest Aventus twist I've ever smelled. The quality here is pretty good. The performance here is pretty good. It's kind of right in my wheelhouse, sweet spot of what I like. I don't like an obnoxious fragrance, but I like some good longevity. I get all of that here. This is a good one. 2 for 2 on fragrances I really like from this brand, I gotta say. 7.5 out of 10. Well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Bharara Don. The Aventus twist is basically the easiest way to look at this one. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. How many of you have tried this one? What do you think about it? Are you a fan? I know people are going to mention Blue, the latent twist. Or King, I believe, is an Herba Pura twist. I'm going to get those. I will get them eventually. Inevitably and eventually, I will get them because I want to dive into this house more. So I do like both of the ones I got so far, this and Double Blue, which, like I said before, I did a review on already. I think it's a better version of Azzaro Chrome. And this, while not a better version of Aventus, it's a really good twist on Aventus, though. I do quite like it. And until next time, I will see if you get your hands on Don and you give it a spray now. You might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.